Welcome back to day 2 of our final exam review. We are on page 4. We're working with polynomial functions. Number 1 says, which of the following power functions best describes end behavior, also known as long-run behavior, of the polynomial y equals negative 3x to the 4 plus 5x squared plus 3x minus 1. So what you want to do is look for the term with the biggest exponent. So we're going to concentrate on negative 3x to the 4. So if you have an even number exponent like x to the 4, it's generally like some version of a W shape. But because there's a negative in front of the coefficient, the arrows are pointing down. So we need something that looks like that. We need something with negative coefficient and an even number exponent. Number 2, which of the following could be the equation of the polynomial graph shown below? So again, if you look at your arrows, they're pointing down. So we need to start with something that has a negative coefficient. There and there. Now, so that means I can cross off 2 and 4. So now I'm going to look at the zeros. This is a negative 5. This 0 is 0. And it looks like a double root as well. And this is 3. So if I had to write this equation, I'm going to start with this one because it would be x minus 0. And since it's a double, squared. So I could say x squared. Remember, factors and zeros are opposite signs. So that would be an x plus 5. And that would be an x minus 3. The only difference between 1 and 3 is this one has an x squared, that one doesn't. So make sure you keep in mind double roots have an x squared. Okay, we just learned about identities a few weeks ago when we did our trig unit. What has to happen is that both sides of our equation have to be equal. And you're not solving it like it's an equation, you're simplifying both sides. So I'm going to do the first one and then I'll pause it and do the rest of them. So if I take x plus 4 squared, that means x plus 4 times x plus 4. And when I do double distribution, I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. That does not equal the other side of our equation. Number 2, when I simplify this, I get 10x plus 5. And that does not equal 10x plus 6. So that is not an identity. Over here, I'm going to distribute, So I end up, here's my left side, x squared minus 9. So I have x squared minus 3x plus 3x minus 3. So when I simplify, I have x squared minus 3. Those are not equal. Wait a second. Hold on. Multiplying isn't my forte, I guess. 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9. So actually, this is an identity. X squared minus 9. Whoops. And just for good measure, I'll do this problem. X minus 4 times x minus 4. So this gives you x squared minus 8x plus 16. And then over here on the other side of your equation, you end up with x squared plus 0x minus 4. So those aren't equal. That is your identity. And number 4, which of the following is a factor of the cubic polynomial x to the third minus 10x squared plus 11x plus 70? So if I tried to factor this, I would use grouping and I would take out an x squared and I'd have x minus 10. And then over here, the only GCF that I can think of is a 1. Well, that isn't helping us because these two things are not the same. So in this case, factoring will not help. So what we're going to do is use the remainder theorem. And what that means is if something is a factor, remember A is a number, then f of A is 0. So what I'm going to do is put this into my calculator. And I already have the graphing calculator up, so I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to type in my problem, x to the third. And you could do this on Desmos as well. Minus 10. Oops. Get rid of that thing. Okay. You don't need to look at the graph. You just look at your table. I'm going up by 90s, so I'm going to go second table set and change this change table to 1. So at 0, my y value is 70. We don't want that. We're looking for zeros. Check this out. At 5, the y is 0. Now, that means my factor is actually a -5. So that's not going to help us. Here we have the 0.70. That's the one I'm going to use. If this is our factor, then that means x equals 7. And that would give you the 0.70. So that is your factor. Come back for the second page, and I will talk to you soon.